Thanks for joining us today again for Bible Bits and Clips. It is the 13th day of October, Wednesday. In fact, it's sort of a melancholy or sad day for me. At least when I was a very little boy, my mom had me very late, and so she passed, say, 56 years ago today. And I was only, I think, a second grader, and cried all day that day. Hard to lose your mom when you're that young. Now, today, we're going to go to Tim Keller, and we're going to talk about the difference between favor and grace. Now, you might remember Esau and Jacob, and for 20 years, Jacob ran away from Esau, and when they finally met together, he could have been fearful and could have still been spiteful. But he said, I know it's wrong, I don't deserve it, but let me in anyway, we're brothers. And that's sort of the way it is with grace and favor. We don't deserve it, but God, in His grace and mercy, does see past, through Christ in us, a reason to let us in. Here we go. Stay with us for some cosmic hospitality, as he calls it.
Is the opposite of what is your right, and favor is the opposite of being outside. So let's give it a definition. And let's pull it apart for a moment. Grace is favor granted to an undeserving person by an unobligated giver. Grace is being led into a place that you don't deserve to be led into by a person who is not obligated to let you be in there either. Favor given to an undeserving person by an unobligated giver. Now let's break that into two parts. Let's look at the idea of being let in, and let's look at the part of it being undeserved. First, being let in. You can see it right here in the passage. Look, in verse 6, Jonah says, "To the roots of the mountains I have sank down. The earth barred my way, and yet you brought my life up from the pit." See, I was far away from you. The earth was in my path. I was barred, but you let me in. You let me near. Now, what we got here is cosmic hospitality. Cosmic hospitality. In New York, you don't just let everybody or anybody into your place, but when you let that person in, hospitality means more than just letting them in the door. It means to really receive them. When somebody's in your place, they're thirsty, you get them a drink. They're hot, you turn up the heat. They're, right? They're cold, you open a window. You meet their needs. They're unhappy, you listen to them. Of course not. They're hot, you open the window. They're cold, you put up the heat. They're thirsty, you don't give them pretzels. You give them something to drink, right? And in the same way, cosmic hospitality, which is grace, means God lets you in, all the way in to Himself, all the way into His family, all the way into His heart, all the way into His home, you might say, all the way into His dwelling. And there He meets your needs, He answers your prayers, He guides you, He controls the events of your life for your own good. That's cosmic hospitality. Now, the reason that the doctrine of grace strikes so deeply in us and meets needs at such a fundamental level, and until you understand the gospel of grace, the reason those needs go unmet is because at a very deep level we want to be let in. We need to be received. It's amazing.
And many of us seek such a thing in life, and especially like in Hollywood when they're getting a award. Oh, finally you love me, finally you recognize me. Well, God recognizes His worth and value in you because He stamped His image on you. Well, thank you for joining us today. Again, it's always a pleasure and a joy to have you. May the Lord bless your day and expand your influence, and may you be serving the Lord and doing the Father's will. So, hopefully, if the Lord tarries, I'll see you tomorrow. Not looking for you on that other end with the Lord.